should.
Do you know how to hook
Yeah,
it
but
up?
not since.
No, but I guess they give you directions, wouldn't they? I thought we could rent one for a night.
That's the one that's
Kind of
got the
fun.
hair.
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, right, not this.
What's that doing over there?
That's a
Oh,
video
she's taking
camera.
movies.
Oh,
And then you talk.
She takes pictures of you when your hair is dirty.
We can't, we don't really care, but she has to look at them,
And we
so.
don't know anybody,
cold watching.
Is that right?
oh,
Before
the change in
sun
the
came
weather
out,
was
yeah.
just, Phyllis, we don't know anybody with VCR.
Huh?
We don't know
spent a lot
anybody
of
with
time in
VCR.
the
Who read one?
Oh, did you?
Looking at all the
Don't they?
Because Jane said she
Take your
brought
pictures
tapes
apart a little bit.
of Joel
Oh, yeah.
and Dave and everybody.
Oh, yeah.
We'll have a, oh, is this take pictures of the person who's taking the picture?
Yeah, it's a game I play. I gotta find my backlight. We've only had this a month. I'm not
Now
doing.
Phyllis has to say hi to Joe.
Don't you dare, you dummy. Yes, please say hi to Joel.
Hi, Joel.
Everyone, hi to Joel, please.
Hi, Joe.
Hi,
Thank you.
Joel.
Thank you.
Hi, Joe.
Hi, Joel. Tell him hell. Come on.
No.
Hi, David.
Hi, David.
Hell. Come on. Do it. Give him a hell.
What?
You know, one time I told her to say hi to David, and she insisted. I said, hell, David. I said, hi.
Maybe he said hello.
H.I.
Hello.
No, it said hell.
There you go. Now drink hardy, girls.
Just wait.
Well, what's
I
yours?
propose,
Okay.
I
told him to
propose a
pour
toast.
himself
Okay.
a little-
No, there wasn't any.
I'll get another bottle.
You'll all-
No, I'll go out there and do my work. Remember, I got that,
Nice
what did I
picture.
say, Rose? I got that saw, the file to saw.
Beautiful.
The saw to file.
Right,
That's what I said, I was gonna saw the file.
Okay, Phyllis is gonna propose a toast.
I propose a toast for the Harkonen girls.
Oh,
Here, here.
Oh,
thank you.
you're supposed to say
Here.
here, here, everybody.
Here.
Thank you.
That
It's
is
Good.
Good stuff. Not very sweet.
Gotta get some of Uncle Wally's garden here.
I know, it does, it would be a lot harder, because then two would be larger.
You're gonna have, I got a pump here.
Okay.
Pump that up, take that cap off.
I went down to the gas station to get a drink.
We don't want.
Okay.
And Jane.
And Jane over there.
And Phyllis.
Okay, this'll all be edited out anyway, so there's no concerns about what goes in and what doesn't go in. This is just an outline of some questions that, the same questions that I asked Mother, that just are kind of recollections and reminiscences of what you remember of your childhood. And it does start out with the early years. And the first part of it are recollections of grandparents, parents, brothers, sisters, and other relatives and acquaintances. Things like personalities and characteristics, family stories about them, or other relatives and friends you can remember together.
7. No, living.
10 altogether.
Oh, yeah, the dead ones. Living. 7.
7. And who was the oldest?
I was the oldest.
Agnes.
Agnes.
And then who was next?
Christine is deceased.
Okay, and next?
Martha.
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 And next?
Me.
Sylvia. And
I was the fifth
And
girl.
the baby.
the fifth girl.
Dad was ready for a boy by that time.
And then after you
Oscar.
was Oscar.
And Art.
And then Art.
And William.
Okay. And then,
And Ethel. And then Harold.
okay. But then were 7 sisters and brothers that survived.
Yeah.
The other 3 died in infancy.
babies.
Was it
Infancy,
before?
yes. All under a year, I think.
Yeah.
Really?
Under a year.
Did you ever know the cause of death?
Pneumonia. All 3.
What were the family circumstances when each of you were born? Where were they living and what occupations were your mother and father involved in?
Agnes was the first one.
Yeah, when we were, I think Dad was working in the mine.
And you were born in
What do you mean, town?
town? Uh-huh.
Well, it was in Hancock, but I guess they call it Helltown.
Hilltown was the
Yeah.
name of it. They call it Copper City today,
Yeah.
or Copper Town, I mean, today.
Is that what it is, Coppertown?
Where did the name Helltown come from?
I
I've
don't
heard
know.
that. I wonder if it was actually called that at one time, or if it was just something that,
Yeah, I think it was the name of the town.
Well, what does your birth certificate say?
It says Franklin County Township, that's all.
Oh.
Yeah, I think that's what mine was too. I still got my birth certificate.
I have to.
Or rather, baptismal. And I don't think it was Helltown.
what were your parents doing at the time you
Well,
were born?
Dad, we worked in a company.
And mother stayed at home?
Yeah.
And you were born in, what was the date of your birth?
August 10th, 1907.
And next
Christine.
was she born in?
Same place?
Yeah,
Same
same place.
Okay, so circumstances would be the same. And were there any other children born in Hancock?
I was,
She was a baby when we moved.
I was 13 months old when we moved
And you were born in,
to Hilltown.
date?
June 19th, 1912,
And you were how old when they moved to the?
13 months.
And after when they moved then, they moved to
Hey,
the farm.
Sue was the first one to be born on a farm.
What year was it when they moved to,
13. Wasn't it 13?
It had to be.
Yeah,
Martha
I
was
guess
13
it was.
months old.
Yeah.
Martha was a year old when they said.
And you were born in 1912?
Yeah.
Yeah.
so 1913 was when they bought the farm and moved out to Bangor, Michigan. Did they own the property that they had in?
Well, they were buying it.
Yeah, that was some discussion that we had the other night about whether they were renting or.
I think he owned it. His dad, remember, he said he did remodeling there.
Oh, they owned the house.
They owned the house,
Yeah.
pretty sure. I seen the house when we went back there, I seen it.
Still,
But it was still standing on, of course, it had been done over again.
yeah.
Wasn't that a company house first?
Yeah, I guess so, but he had changed it.
Well, then he could buy it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he bought it.
What do you remember about the house?
Well, I remember it as a two-story house. I think it was, wasn't it? Yeah, I know there was upstairs. It was inside, but outside the house.
Evidently had board sidewalks.
I can't
Mother
remember.
remembered, she told me that you had her wedding ring around your neck.
Yeah, I took all the rings and
Yeah.
went out. And she, I don't know what I did, but maybe somebody took them.
Yeah, you lost them there. She said she saw a man go by and pick it up.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mother's first ring.
Yeah.
And she said it was board side.
Well, I guess.
Oh, yeah, they had board sidewalks in those days. Picket fence around them.
Yeah, a picket fence.
Yeah. And that's where I went to the store. You know, you could buy a whole stick candy with a ring around it.
Yeah.
And I went to the store and I think she asked me what I wanted. I said, this. That's how I knew in English. And then I come home, I had a ring on every finger and I come home like this.
You spoke Finnish
Yeah.
then,
Mhm.
when you were,
I didn't learn English until
before you were born, how long was it when Grandpa
About
came
4
over?
years before Mother came.
Was it that long?
I think
Well,
so.
you
I don't think so.
Mhm.
It could be.
What year did Dad,
I think he came in there in 1900 or something.
that early, and I was born in
Or
07.
1902. 1902, I'm not sure about that though. But I know it was about 4 years that
Well, he had
he
to save the money to get
Yeah.
paper.
Right, that works out by right, 4 years, and then they were married over here, and then you were born
9 months
A
and 2
year
weeks
later?
after.
Yeah,
Is that
9
right?
months and 2 weeks.
after they were married?
Yeah.
Well, I never knew that.
I added it up one day. I
Yeah?
don't know what I was, nothing else to do, I
Mhm.
suppose. It's 9 months and 2 weeks.
Well, at least they didn't have to get married. huh?
Right.
Did you start school in Hancock?
No.
No, it was after you moved to the farm.
Yeah.
That, did,
Because I was only, what,
What were you, about 6 years old?
6 years old.
what do you remember discussions about the farm, about buying the farm? Or do you remember going out to take a look at it or anything before they bought it? You just-
I just remember when we moved, the furniture came in a wagon, you know, and we had a dog. The dog was in a crate looking out.
Was that Nectar?
I guess so.
Oh.
And that's all I remember. I don't remember unloading or moving into the house.
And then you were born, you were the last, Martha was the last one born in Hancock.
That's right.
And then, who was the next one, who was born on the farm?
She was the first one on the farm.
Yeah.
And what year was that?
14.
1914. And then you were next in
1917.
1917. What do you remember of the farm in those early years?
I remember much at all when I was that young,
Right.
and I was just barely getting around.
Yeah, but afterwards.
After.
Afterwards, I don't know.
When you were 2, 3 years old, probably.
Now, what do you remember about the place where, well, you don't remember anything about the place where you were born because you were too
No.
young when you moved, but what do you remember about the town where you were born, which would be, I guess, Bagley?
Yeah. It was
Right,
quite a
but
town
what kind,
then.
what was it?
It was
like
quite a
then?
city.
It had a logging mill, didn't it? A sawmill too.
Oh, sure.
And then a hotel and a post office and store.
Dance hall.
That was Bagley, believe it or not.
But-
Dance hall too.
And, yes, and a depot. And a candy store.
Yeah,
What was there, about 400 population? or-
I guess so.
Is that a fact?
Bagley, yes. What is the population now, about 15?
He said
I
that.
don't know.
Yeah, which is the town, you have to refresh my memory because it's been so long, which is the town that's right at the end of the gravel road? Is that Bagley or
Bagley.
Kearney?
Bagley.
That's Bagley. Okay,
Where the
so
lumber
that-
inn is.
Yeah,
When you turn off the highway to go to the farm.
right. How many miles was that from the farm?
About one and a half. Isn't it about 1.5 miles to the farm from Bagley?
2
No,
miles.
Right,
two.
yeah.
2 miles, I
Is
think.
it about 2?
Is it about 2? I never really knew. I've
Not
driven
more
up
than
there
2.
for so
Because
many
we
years.
used to walk
and-
to Bagley.
Well, that was gonna be
nothing.
my next question. Of course, the farm, there probably weren't too many things you had to buy, but there were occasions, I'm sure, when you had to make a trip to Bagley.
Well, yeah, Mother would put some eggs in a basket, and we'd walk to the store, and,
That was our money.
yeah, and what did we
So
get
it was kind
for
of a
that?
barter.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
It was maybe coffee, sugar, or
No,
something.
sure.
It was always rice.
It was always,
Rice, mother.
Rice.
yeah, yeah.
Well, that's interesting, because I don't remember a whole lot of rice being cooked.
Oh,
In
Mother
later
did.
years.
Usually
Did she?
for
Supper.
Breakfast?
Friday, wasn't it? And she'd put it on the back of the stove with milk, so it cooked slow. And every so often we'd stir it. And we ate it with fruit.
That was good.
Yeah. Canned blueberries. It's good.
How often did you go into town?
Once a week, maybe.
But I remember one.
Yeah, it was just
Basket of eggs.
coffee and yeast.
Oh, yeah, when we run
Yeah.
out of stuff, then she'd send us one of the kids to, or a couple of us together.
When you run
Send
out of
us to
stuff.
Bagley
Yeah.
to get, with the eggs, to get the stuff she ran out of. Then Dad would go with horse and buggy to go and get the bigger stuff.
Big bag of flour, big bag of
Yeah.
sugar.
It was always by the 100 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah. What kinds of stories did your parents tell about where they were when you were born? Just something like the one that you tell of Grandpa running home?
Oh, Yeah, when I was born, I can't remember when it was night or day, but he said he ran so fast and took Kasura enough, which would be in Finnish, you know, that's how fast.
Yeah.
His hair was straight back. That's running.
Yeah.
And he said it was thundering and lightning.
Yeah. What about Aunt Martha? Did they mention anything about the circumstances of your birth, or what was going on at the time that you were born? Or?
I don't remember any.
Probably getting to be kind of old stuff then.
Yeah,
Not like the first
I
hour.
know that he expected a boy when I was born. He said that he made a boy out of me, though. He taught me how to drive the Model
That's
T.
right.
I'm the only one that drove it.
That's right.
And
She even had a boy's
Yeah.
bob.
and I had a boy's father. And he had me do like a boy would work on a farm.
Uh-huh.
But I can remember when, I don't know, one of the babies was born, maybe it was Ethel or Harold or something. That night I heard such a commotion. And in the morning I got up, I asked Dad what was all that noise. He said that was a stork at the window hollering to get in. I believed him.
Yeah.
Sure, there was a baby.
Were all the children born at home?
Yeah.
And midwife.
Even in Hancock?
Yeah, they
Yeah, I
had
believe so,
uh-huh.
I believe so.
They just had midwives.
Yeah. What happened when there was an imminent birth? Where were the rest of the children? Did you
In a
stay
house.
there?
In a house.
Oh, we were.
That's where I heard all that
We were
commotion
asleep.
that night. I didn't know what was
I
going
don't
on.
remember anything.
Usually they
Upstairs
stand
or
outside,
downstairs?
too,
Upstairs?
you know, if it
Oh,
was
it was
daylight.
during-
All depends on where they were, what time of the day they were born. If they were born in daytime or night, usually at night,
Right.
and they were in bed.
How far did the midwife have to come from?
Not
Who was
far.
the midwife?
Dad used to go and get her, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mrs. Coden was one, and then Rose Walker delivered me
Yeah, they were what, a half a mile
in
Covenants?
Bagby.
Well, that's how you got your name
Yeah,
then.
that's what they were saying this
Yeah.
morning. We were talking about looking through that book at the library, and they said that you were named after the midwife
Yeah.
that delivered you.
Yeah. Rose Walker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember what she looked like or anything.
Naturally.
No, I mean, she was still living after I grew up.
Oh, come on.
Don't you think I
Well, now here I am asking you what you remember about your birth, so it was perfectly natural.
Well, everybody's saying crazy things, so.
What was the house like? How do you remember the farmhouse as being when you were growing up? I understand it's gone through
There's
Couple
one,
of
there was one
changes.
room and a pantry downstairs.
Yeah, no kitchen.
Was there an
Kitchen
upstairs
was
then?
out.
Kitchen and
Yeah, it
all,
was upstairs.
all that was in one. There's a pantry and
Big
then-
hallway.
Downstairs was 2 rooms always.
No,
No.
Dad did
Was
that.
it?
Dad moved the pantry wall where it was. It made 2 rooms out of it. I remember when he did it.
Well, that, I don't remember if it being one room.
Sure.
Well, what about
Since
the
it was one room.
dining room and the living room, they were separated downstairs?
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, because there was a wall there.
And there was a door, the width of that, where you go in the cellar.
I know. That wall was on the other. I remember when that wall was moved.
Because when Dad's Conti was hanging on a wall,
Yeah.
it was on the dividing wall between the,
That wall was always
Yeah.
there.
What's a conti?
well, it was a wicker
He
Birch
wove
bark.
it, it's out
basket.
woven out of birch bark. Yeah, and it was about 8 wide. And
Oh,
it,
no, not big, not like this.
yeah,
And he had a flat, and he kept all
all his
his,
important papers in there.
Oh.
And kids, much off of that.
you couldn't
Oh.
touch that.
No, no,
And that was the Finnish name for it.
What does it mean? Is there a literal translation
No, I don't
in
know.
Finnish, or it just, when you say that word, you just picture
Yeah,
this
that's right,
thing
that's
that it
right.
was?
That was it.
It was made out of birch bark.
Yeah, I remember that.
So as I remember the farm then, there was no kitchen on the building at that
Oh,
time?
yeah, it was there already.
No, that wall was moved. I remember when they moved it, and I remember how the house looked. It
What wall?
had one room. That's all there was. Just one room, the kitchen and
The
The whole
kitchen
thing
was
was one.
built extra, there never was, you know, there was a shed.
Oh, I don't mean the kitchen, I don't mean the kitchen where it's now, that was a shed. I mean the house itself, just the.
Just the part you lived in,
Just the
where you
part,
cooked
the
and-
log part. There was one room and a pantry years
Well,
ago.
where did they have the cook stove? I don't remember.
There was a middle of the
Facing
floor.
the
Right,
living room.
It ended up, when Dad moved the wall, it ended up in the middle of the floor, the stove. The stove, because he moved the wall. And he moved the wall where it is today.
Which wall?
The pantry wall. There was one room before, when they moved on the farm, there was one room. And a
Just-
pantry, and a
Just
good
in the
sized
log
pantry.
part.
The log part, just in the log
house was
part.
a log.
And that hallway was, that economy, or where this kitchen is today, that was on the north wall.
And was there an upstairs as well?
Yeah.
At that time?
Oh, yeah, that was
Okay,
always
so that was where you slept and then,
Yeah.
Because I remember where we used to wash clothes, there was a shed on the side of John Harkonen.
Yeah, that's right, that was on the north wall.
And I remember it because there was some iron or that. I stuck my tongue on.
Yeah, I
and it
did
stuck.
too.
in the winter time,
In the wintertime, the skin come off.
Pump handle?
No, it was
Boy.
some,
They make jokes about putting tongues on pump handles in upper Michigan.
I tried it once. It's fixed.
I did it on the ultimate. And the pinchers, you know,
Yeah.
that's what I put my tongue on, and I lift my tongue out.
I know, I did that on.
Didn't you ever try that, Sue?
Oh, yeah. Dad came running with warm water.
It's stuck on there, boy.
Oh, I hear it can be very painful.
Oh, it is.
They would
The
pull it off.
skin, it gets left, put a coating on.
And that's the sort of thing you only try once.
Yeah, that's right.
How about education? Where did you all go to the same grade school?
Yep.
What was it called? What was the name of the
Just a bag of
school?
school.
Yeah. One room school.
And grades what through what?
8.
Up to grade 8?
Chart class to the,
Sure.
Were any
chart
of you,
class.
you were so close, were any of you going to school at the same time?
Oh,
I went to
yes.
school with Sue.
I
I was,
never went to school with Ed, 'cause I started after she graduated.
I
Yeah.
don't think I ever went to school
I
with
went the
Martha.
whole thing.
I don't know. if
Because
you
you're
were
8 years
or not.
older.
No, I think you
So
graduated
you
when
would've
I
been-
started.
Yeah, probably so.
But everybody, all of you went to the same
Oh,
school
sure.
and graduated from
Oh,
the
yeah.
same school.
It's
Where, how far was it from the house?
A
Oh,
quarter of a
we
mile.
cut through the woods.
Quarter
We
of
took a
mile.
shortcut right through. It was from my office.
A quarter of a mile.
Because we never go around the road. We just cut right.
Well, it says here about transportation, and obviously, everybody walked.
That's right.
So what about the cold Michigan winters and the snow? There
Well,
must have
we
been a good bit
still
of
walked.
snow to go through.
But
On the
Dad
dirt.
would walk ahead and make a pass.
Yeah, I remember it once when Sil and I went with his big boots, you know, they make that. I was after him and Sil was after me. And it was cold. And Sil asked me if I was cold. I says, yes. She took her coat off and put it on me.
They used to have
For the
to
rest
took
of
your
us.
gloves off and your fingertips almost froze.
Oh, no, I don't know that one.
I don't know what she had under her coat. I don't remember, maybe just a sweater, but she put her coat on me. So I wouldn't be cold.
I remember Dad was so mad at Mother because her fingers were freezing. I think her ears or something.
No, I couldn't find my mittens, the bell was ringing and I couldn't find the mittens.
Was that what it was?
So I went without.
And walked
So I
home
wouldn't get
without
any-
them?
I was gonna make a perfect mess of that year.
Oh, that was going to school without the mittens.
And it used to get cold.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, how cold are we talking about for
Or
winters
you
there?
could
Did
feel
you
your
have-
cheeks almost get stiff
Oh, yeah.
and snow.
And it was a one-room school. How about teachers? Did you all have the same teachers, or did you
No,
have different teachers?
Oh, yeah.
Mom,
No,
do
they
you
only
remember your
stayed a
teacher's
couple of
name?
years.
Yeah, Miss Schaefer was the first one, I think. And then I think Miss Kelbert the next, or was there one in between?
I had Miss Calvert too.
Who was the teacher before that?
Well, there's Mrs. Wortner, I didn't have her.
Oh, yeah, work.
I think I had one, she said I was in kindergarten, I guess, when she was teaching.
Yeah, I had Schaefer and Wortner.
And did you have Calvert? No.
How about you, Aunt Sal? Any of those names sound familiar, or did you have someone else?
I don't remember Miss Calvert. Maybe I went a few days. But I forget who Miss Swanson, I think, was one.
Yeah. And then Miss Hayes?
Yeah, I started with Helen Hayes. She was my first teacher.
I know when I went to school first, I was so bashful. I wouldn't talk. I could understand some English. Yeah. She made me sit in the room. School. I wouldn't much. And I heard her say that, you know, or did she mark it down somewhere that she is a smart little girl?
Was that because you didn't speak that much English, or were you just shy?
I was shy. I could understand some of the words, you know. Been there.
She's got that. What about the language? The Finnish English thing. My mother said she didn't speak English, wasn't taught English at home. She had to learn it when she went to school. How about the rest of you? Did
But
you?
we learned it from her.
Yeah. Oh.
Sure.
And the teacher told us when, you know, go to bed, that she always tell our mother, good night. I remember we started that, you know, I go to bed and say good night.
And then Grandma learned from all of you,
That's
I
right.
understand.
Uh-huh.
Grandma learned how to read and write.
And
All by
Grandpa
herself.
only read, is that right? Or
No,
did he read?
he just
Did he?
talked English.
I thought he read English
No,
newspapers
Grandma
as
did.
well.
She read and wrote.
So when I used to see him at the kitchen table, he was reading the Finnish newspapers
Oh,
yeah.
then at night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he didn't learn to speak English too much, just enough to get along. Yeah.
We spoke fine. I always understood what he said. Did you all finish 8th grade
Yeah.
in that school? And then where would the next school have been?
Kearney.
Kearney or Daggett?
Yeah.
Now, Mother, you've talked to me, you've mentioned going on a train to take.
Yeah, to write 8th grade examinations.
Did you all have to do that?
I remember I did.
To
The first train ride.
To Daggett, was it?
Kearney.
Kearney?
Dad would, I guess the fare wasn't much.
10 cents.
And give me money to buy
Goodness,
cookies,
Mom.
you know, for lunch. I'd go buy them coconut
Yeah.
cookies and chocolate.
Yeah. And everybody went to write their 8th grade exams, and then where would you have had to have gone to school from then?
Well, Kearney had 2 grades, 9th and 10th grade, I
Yeah.
think. And then Daggett had, I don't know if Daggett had the 9th and 10th too. Yeah, it
I
went to-
think they went through 12.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
Kearney just went through 10.
Yeah. Well, then we had went to Daggett to the school if they left.
What do you remember, any of you remember special friends from school? Names of people that
Special
you,
friends from
Yeah,
school.
good friends.
someone that you remember, someone from school that
Well,
that
there's
sticks
only
in your
one
mind.
that was a good friend of mine, was Esther Holloman. We went to school at the same time.
Do you know what happened to her?
Oh,
You
she
know?
passed away.
Yeah. Anybody else remember?
Well, we were friends with quite a few people, our classmates.
Yeah.
Nothing, I don't think I had any special one that
No,
happened.
I never
Thank
Just
only
said-
all the
Irene.
people that lived around. Yeah.
Irene, when her mother married Henry Nelson, and Irene and I were such good friends. Sue and Selma. She has a
We
good
were
one.
twins.
Oh, yes.
And did
They
you keep in
still-
touch for any length of time afterwards?
Oh,
Do you?
yeah.
Where did?
And she cried.
Now, what about medical practices when you were young? Dental work, supposing you had to have some surgery done, or
Nobody had to
Stitches
have it
or-
done.
What about dental work? What if you had to have a tooth pulled?
Well, there was I think there was a dentist in Daggett, in Stevenson. There was a doctor in Daggett though. But as far as teeth pulled, they pulled our teeth at home. But we had that pulled.
The baby teeth or?
The baby
Oh,
teeth,
the baby
remember?
teeth, yeah.
But as far as fillings or?
Didn't have it.
Anything like that?
Teeth decayed.
Okay.
Nobody was sick enough to.
Was the doctor ever called out to the house?
Oh,
Did
yes.
you ever go into?
Yeah, made house.
Oh, yes, they come to the house, I remember, I always ran
Dad
upstairs, get
would-
under the bed. I wouldn't have anything.
I remember I had
Yeah.
I remember I had a bad stomach ache one night, and I was moaning and rolling around, and they thought I had appendicitis. Dad ran all the way to Bagley to use the telephone to call the doctor, and then he waited till the doctor came that far, and by the time the doctor got there, I was okay. I was okay.
We all had that experience
apple
with our
shade or
kids.
something.
Yeah, he come with horse and buggy, didn't he, or did he have a car?
You walked.
Doctor?
No, the doctor, he had a horse and buggy.
Yeah.
But in the winter, the doctor would come with his car as far as Bagley, and Dad would have to take the horse and the sleigh to go get him from Bagley to the farm.
Yeah.
That's when, well, Oscar and Art were little and I was little. Of course, everybody was sick at the same time then. But I remember I went upstairs and I'd get under the bed. I wouldn't have anything to do with it. And then Dad and Mother would call, come on down, he's not gonna hurt you. I wouldn't come until he was gone.
When you said everybody was sick at the same time,
That was during the flu
the
epidemic.
flu epidemic, which was what year?
That was 1918.
Yeah.
That
During the
I know
war.
because everybody in the house was sick. Dad and Agnes and Chris and Martha and Sil. I was 6 months old. Mother and I were the only ones that didn't get them. I was 6 months old.
How about the epidemic, they call it the influenza epidemic of that year? Were all of your neighbors
Yeah.
affected
Oh,
as well?
yes.
Oh, so many died.
Most of them lost children.
A neighbor, a man had to come and do the chores at our house. My dad and all the kids were in bed.
Yeah.
And
I was
Chris,
in bed with my dad, I remember. The whole bed was full of kids.
and Chris was the first one to begin to feel better, and she had to walk to Munninens.
Yeah.
It's about a mile. Chris was the first one. She still wasn't well, but she was able to go in. She had nosebleeds, I guess, so to
Yeah,
get
way.
our neighbor to come over and do the
Milking.
Yeah, milking.
So
Keep the
until,
cows.
until she was feeling well enough, none of that stuff got done. You were
No.
just all,
My
What was it
mother
like?
had to try to do
Oh,
it.
yeah.
But then she couldn't do that.
yeah.
I mean, taking care of all the sick ones and the baby.
Right.
So then Mr. Munningen came every morning, every night, fed the cows, watered them, milked, cleaned the barn.
Right.
His son lives in Waukegan. We go and see Oliver.
Yeah.
But you know of families that lived right around where you lived who lost
Everybody
people to
had.
that.
Oh, yes.
I don't think there's any.
So your family was really fortunate. No, not to have it, but your family
Yeah.
was fortunate in
Yeah.
that you had
Yeah.
no one die of it at that time.
But some families
about that.
lost 2, 3, didn't they?
Was the doctor called?
I think I remember him coming.
Yeah, but he had so many rounds.
What types of what did you do to treat? What kind of, how would you nurse somebody? What did Grandma do to
There's
help you
nothing
through
could
it?
do. Well, I guess just take your medicine, keep it warm, and
Do you remember how long it
Stay in
lasted?
bed. No, I don't.
Did you have to wear those awful onion bags around your neck?
yeah, I guess.
Onion bags,
Yeah.
remember onion bags?
Yeah.
Oh, God, did they stink.
Was this when?
We have chest cold. And then she'd put a slice of onions in a cloth bag. And she put that bag in the oven. So the onions got hot and pow right on the chest.
Oh.
I used to do that.
I have been the recipient of an onion bag.
She had an onion bag.
I did, I used to on my
I
body.
did too on her.
My mother was more enlightened than that.
No, not mine. I got onion
All I
bags.
got was Vicks and.
I begged for Vicks. I got onions.
I imagine it took about a week or two to get over it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sure.
But none of us got pneumonia or anything.
I think she used one onion bag and all the kids got it.
Oh, what other things do you remember in terms of medical type things, treating illnesses or?
I don't think they would do. We were lucky enough, nobody was ever sick.
No, we never had
We were
no
sick.
No, she had whooping
I
cough.
think I did.
I don't remember that, I just remember sitting in the round and cuddling. So I was enough to have.
So I got
Yeah.
chopped an arm one time with
Oh, yeah,
with
playing
hospice.
cows.
No, they were
Giving
little
popple.
popple. Eating popple, and we used to have to go out and peel popple in the woods.
What's popple?
Popple trees.
The Finns call it
For
pop.
pulp. You drop down a tree and then in the spring of the year, or early summer, the bark is peeled right off. And that's what we used to go and do. We used to chop down the trees and then give us a start, you know, we just had
Right.
kind of wide band.
Like
It
this.
used to be about this long and about this
You're
wide.
thinking about
And
peeling
then you
vegetables.
put that and you got the peeling off and you should
There's
just
a
roll
popple,
it right
but
off.
it came right
And
off.
then sell it
But
for?
And
when you
then
had
you
to
sell
peel
the wood
vegetables,
for
then you
pulp.
had this
Yeah.
thing.
Well, I
That
never
was in
did
the
it.
summer heat,
Oh.
so that's what they gave us kids to do.
And is that when?
Yeah, that's
Oscar
Oscar
was
was
it
trimming
called
the,
popple?
he had just got a new axe.
Well, you know that
He
big
was
tree by the
trimming
farmhouse? That's a
The,
silver popple.
the
And
branches
there's,
off the tree
that
with
popple
it.
looks nearly
And
like
it
a
was
birch.
falling down.
Poplar tree.
Poplar.
And
They
he
call it
always-
popple.
swung
Oh,
and
yeah.
he hit
We always
Jill
said
in the
poplar.
arm.
Oh, I
He
was
said,
gonna hold a branch while he was chopping down.
tree and he hit her right in the arm.
And she still got,
Right up here.
show her the scar.
Well, what happened? Did the doctor come out to you or
Oh,
did
no,
you go
no.
to the doctor or?
No,
Mother
Dad,
just wrapped it up and Dad drove me to Daggett.
Stitches, show your arm with that scar.
This is so you had to drive all the way to Daggett and.
How old were you?
See the big
How old
cut,
were you then?
big cut with 4 stitches.
so you could see. Because you just-
Yeah, oh yeah, I remember the scar.
Yeah, but
The
only
scar
4
from-
I
stitches,
was
and
supposed to
I cut about that on the 4 stitches.
put it in a sling, but I take it off and put it.
Did he anesthetize it before he put the stitches in?
Oh, my.
And remember, what was it, the kids were playing, they used to see how they stunned the cows when they killed them. And my gosh, somebody hit on the head pretending they were the
Martha
cow.
hit me in the head with a hoe. I still
Well,
have a scar.
I was holding like
She
this.
come back.
I was holding like this over my head and she was behind me and got her right in the head.
Well, you're all into my next question about humorous experiences
Yeah.
when you were younger.
Well, did somebody, who was it that, it was younger kids playing, that they were killing a cow and all
Can't
the
hold
stuff.
it
No,
still.
they- wasn't it you they hit?
No, no.
And,
I don't remember
you know,
Yeah.
so they're just lucky that, I don't know if it was the boys or what. They weren't killed or something.
Right.
that. Was it you, Sylvan? Remember they had those, in a woods, there was always these big pine stumps. They were hollow,
Yeah.
you know, they had chopped a tree down and
Mhm.
the stump was all hollow. And Art and Oscar were both little. I don't know if Sylvan, you were with me, that we got this great idea. It was our house. We stuck Art in there and then we started the stump on fire.
Oh.
We thought that our house was burning, we were gonna rescue them.
Gosh, for girls.
Oh.
Then we used to put kids in the barrel and push them down the hill.
If we would have done that, you know what would have happened to
What
us?
kids are you talking about? Listen, it sounds like being the older kids was the place to be in this family.
Well, I don't remember if I was in a barrel, but I remember them going, they were big barrels. Put them in, then, you know, how the house.
On the hill,
Pushed
yeah.
down the hill. That
That's
was a bumpy
terrible.
ride.
What was your social life as a teenager? And you were all living on a farm when you were teenagers. And I would imagine that it changed a whole lot for you as it got down the line. Mother, when you were a teenager, dressing, dating?
No, I just remember one day, all the rest went dances, you know. But this boy was from out of town, you know. And the next day he took me to some school thing like that, and walking home. Put his arm around me, kissed me, and oh, That's the greatest, that's the only time.
Were you confirmed? What does
What do you
that mean?
mean?
That grandma wouldn't let anybody do anything unless
Till they were
confirmed.
Yeah.
confirmed.
And I imagine kissing was at the top of the list.
Well, that was just one kiss. That's the only.
The only date you had
Yeah.
before you left home at 18?
No, gosh, I was about 16 or 17.
Yeah, because I
Yeah,
heard
six-
you,
16, I
she's 10
believe.
years older. So I was only 6 or 7 years old when she
Was out kissing.
went off to see the fortune.
I think I was about 16.
So some of your teenage years were spent away from home.
Yeah.
Were you dating
Everybody
when?
would leave after they finished school and go somewhere. And the reason I went to Detroit was a good friend of mother and dad's lived there in a little fast little thing and stayed at their house.
What's her name, Oakland?
Oakson.
Oakland.
Yeah.
And this was to start your adult life
Yeah.
after
Mhm.
to start your,
But they felt
Working
it
or-
wasn't fair to have to stay home.
because there weren't the opportunities
Yeah.
available for you
Yeah.
at home. And at Sil, were you next or at Martha?
They were, Sil and Chris.
We got married during the Depression. And boy, jobs were hard to find then. Wally was working for $1 a day when we got married.
What were prices? Were prices down
Oh, sure.
correspondingly so that
Oh, yes.
$1 a day would
Would
keep
have,
you going?
that's right. You can live on that.
I used to buy a bar of Bell's Naphtha soap, I think, for 2 cents.
Yeah.
Do the washing before the next pay.
Yeah, and I remember you said you used to make that bar that would last the whole week or
Oh, I
however.
could do the
until-
washing,
Yeah.
just shave it into the wash.
Mhm.
They didn't have all kinds of powders and stuff.
What do you remember about, any special memories about presidential elections, or, you remember the first time you
Yes.
voted?
A significant amount because
Oh,
of my
yeah, I
battery
remember
being
when I
gone.
voted the first time.
So
I
now we're
remember
resuming.
when
It's
that
5:15.
was or anything like that.
President Wilson was president when I was born.
Wilson was president during the war.
When I was
During
born,
the
1917, he was president.
First World
Yeah.
War. During the flu epidemic, he was president. I remember Wilson, I remember Harding.
Do you?
Oh, yeah.
Was Harding after Wilson? Oh, I
I remember when he died. Harding.
FDR is the one that sticks in my mind.
Yeah,
His mother liked him.
I was working at the time he died. Oh, he served many terms, didn't he?
More than any
He
other
was the
president?
only one, he died in his 4th term. And he helped the farmers. Very,
And right
very
after
much.
FDR, I think they did away with the 4-term presidency. I think that was when they limited
Yeah.
it to 2 terms.
He got work for all the
In
unemployed.
the early years, childhood years, did Grandpa and Grandma have any superstitions about anything? Like, black cats under ladders, or anything that was particularly Finnish, perhaps, that they used to talk
I
about?
don't know if they believe in ghosts, remember Martha? When somebody had to go to the toilet that night, should send another one along. For
That was
her and
just-
sure to say
yeah.
or something.
Well, that was
What
just,
did they say?
that was just to appease the kids, I guess.
Yeah, they said, like if Sue had to go to the bathroom or something, and then she didn't want to go alone, so mother would send Martha along with her to feed the ghost. Throw her to the ghost.
And what was that in Finnish? What would she say?
Better so dirty.
Mother is the ghost, Syötöksi is food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoever went with was food
Oh
for the
yeah,
ghost.
Sue could throw Martha to the ghost.
What about superstitions like things like what brings good or bad luck? Like we have 4-leaf clover and rabbit's foot. Did they have anything like that? Farmers?
No.
No, maybe they had when they were kids,
Anything that they did to ensure a good crop or to keep the cattle healthy or anything, they were
Yeah,
putting
they
down
take
to
care of
everything.
that.
How about, did they predict rain or snow, bad winters or dry summers in any particular way other than reading the newspaper? Any signs that they
Dad
look
used to think
for
that the moon would ring around the moon.
would mean what?
I don't know, I
A
guess.
storm.
Yes.
Yeah, and they could
Yeah.
tell when it was gonna rain or.
I would think with the winters that they had in northern Michigan, that they would have some way of, some sign that they would look forward to, see if it was gonna be an especially bad winter or nothing that you remember. How about home cures and remedies? You talked about the onion bag on the chest. How about other things that hiccups or?
And then a red liniment used to be standby. It's good for man or beast, and they used it for man.
What was it called? Red liniment? Was that the name of it?
Yeah.
And carbolic salve, they
That
use
was
that if
Watkins
the cow
cinnamon.
scratches.
She got it
or
from the
something.
Watkins man.
Carbolic salve, the kid got scratched, got carbolic salve, everything. Wasn't it, don't you remember that?
And clover leaf sap was another one.
Yeah.
Potpourri.
What did she give you for
Yeah, I
coughs?
sold
Did
Yeah,
she mix
coughs
something
is
for
one
a
of the
cough?
things I
Yeah,
had
that's
here.
what they
Oh, yeah,
used to
she
sell
put,
it.
for cough, she put something on a sugar lump. We had to eat that. Was
Liniment.
it camphorated oil or what did you do?
Yeah, and liniment too.
And we had to eat that sugar lump. Ooh, that
And
was
then
bad.
they used to put a rag around your throat when you had a sore throat with kerosene on it sometimes.
Or in your neck.
I remember wearing a wool scarf to bed.
Oh,
And
something about
if
keeping
we
She
had-
had a lot of the old remedies.
And if we had lice, mother would put kerosene on her head.
until, and then just, you had to
And
stay
then
with
she-
it on the, with the
Just
kerosene?
that day, and then we'd go in the bathhouse.
And stay away
Wash
from
her.
the
Just-
lamps.
Yeah. Don't play with matches.
How about warts?
Rainwater.
Oh, that stone. the
Or
rock
milk
stuff. I
water,
can
or
still
milk
show you the
weed.
stone.
Right.
Right across the road, there's a big rock. It's got a, it's dented in there.
Uh-huh.
The rainwater collects in there, you wash wart in there and it'll go
You know who
away.
showed me how to do that and showed me that stone and put my wart in it? Aunt Mars.
Really?
Yeah.
The
How did she
milkweed
know
that-
about it?
And
Through
milk
Art,
weed.
his Art told her because my wart went away, but she took me over there and she said, I'm
Oh.
gonna take your wart away. She
Oh,
did.
yes.
Mhm.
And that, Lucky's headstone in a cemetery, you know, it's got that top on it. And wash your warts in the rainwater there, they'll go away.
Well, the mother mentioned the milkweed, and I had a wart on the bottom of my foot, and I remember mother telling Dad to go out and get the milkweed in the basement, put some on every night, and darn the wart didn't float
Yeah.
off in the bathtub.
Did it?
Oh, I remember that, just plain as plain
Where'd
as
you
day.
learn about milkweed?
Oh, I thought everything.
Oh, just the leaf
milk.
or
The
when you
milk.
break it, the white
Yeah.
stuff that
Yeah.
comes out?
What about toothaches? Did anybody of you have, anybody
Oh,
have a
did we have
toothache?
toothaches?
What did they do for toothaches?
Well, you used to put sometimes spices. We used to put
Cloves?
spices on the cotton
There
bag.
came the liniment again.
Yeah,
On a
and the
piece of cotton.
liniment on cotton. And anything to plug the hole. Boy, they used to ache. Boy, we had a lot of toothaches.
Did they just go away, or was
Well,
it you?
oh, they went away after a while after suffering for days with it.
After the abscess.
Yeah.
No aspirin? No. What about arthritis? Grandpa,
That was
Grandma have
rheumatism in those days,
rheumatism?
yeah.
And any particular way that they treated
Mother
it?
used
or-
to,
Rubbing liniment on it again, or something like that.
Mhm.
Ointment of some kind if they had it.
yeah, and then she, I don't remember on Dad, he had rheumatism. She melted butter, unsalted butter, and put iodine in it, and then she rubbed him with that.
Oh.
What about mustard plasters? Did she ever make those?
Oh, yeah, mustard plasters, remember those things?
How do you make a mustard plaster?
Well, between two pieces of material, you spread, you mix mustard with flour, I think.
Yeah.
And spread that in there, yeah. And then you put that on your back or whatever hurts. Boy, does
Make a
that
poultice
burn.
out of it, you put it in some fluid, water or something.
Make a paste out of it.
Paste out of
Yeah.
it.
And then, ooh, does that burn?
And that would be used for colds or
Oh, yeah.
muscle aches?
Muscle
or-
aches, too.
How about birth control? Did you ever hear any
Oh,
talk
gosh.
about
No,
birth
that-
control?
that
I don't think there
No,
was.
that was never mentioned.
Well, wasn't there something
Wasn't
that
it
about as long
breastfeeding?
as you were nursing
Yeah.
a baby,
That's
you
what
could?
I heard,
I guess so.
yeah.
I guess so,
That you wouldn't get pregnant.
yeah.
And did they have any ways of predicting or controlling the future? Like Mother, you talked about dropping the melted copper into the...
Oh, yeah, we were in Hancock then. Dad worked in a copper mine. And their entertainment was their young friends would come over. And Dad would have some of the copper that he mined, and they had a long dipper like, and they'd hold it in the stove till it melted. And then they'd pour it in cold water and it would congeal and form something. And they each try to read it.
Oh, like a fortune
Yeah.
teller or something.
Really?
Oh, for goodness sake.
And she read it in the book that it was true.
Did you bring another one?
Mother described
Yes,
it
I
as
did.
being more of a kind of a Ouija board type thing, where
Yeah.
everybody laughed a lot.
Yeah,
And
and
had a
had
good time about it, but I
exercise.
think it had its basis back, and
Yeah.
probably taken more seriously
Yeah.
back in Finland. Any
Yeah, but I
tradition,
was real young. So I remember.
any traditional customs or ways of celebrating Halloween or Christmas, or what was a Christmas like in the family? When you were
Very
living
quiet.
at home?
Yeah, sometimes we'd hang a stocking up.
Yeah, we'd hang a stocking up, we got candy in the tub.
I
And then
remember
we
always a
had-
tree in the house.
We had a tree with the real candles.
Mhm.
And we'd make trimmings with the paper chain.
Yeah. Paper chain.
And, you
Did
know,
anybody ask, any of the children, did you ask for things for Christmas the way the kids do
I
now?
don't remember that. I don't remember that.
Was it more of a religious observance than a?
Did you have
Santa Claus
catalogs?
type
Did you
coming,
have
or-
catalogs that you looked through, or?
Oh, yes, catalogs, that was our wishing.
But I mean, did you ask for stuff on a catalog?
but the girls always got a doll. We had my shoulders gas.
I never
His name
had
was
a doll.
Nathan.
And the boys got, probably,
Oscar got skis, I know, one year in a
a
sled.
what?
They even had a tricycle, remember?
Well,
Yeah, the
that's-
boys got more,
Yeah.
but I don't remember ever getting a doll. You-
I had-
when you sent me that doll, was the first doll I ever had, and I was about 12 years old.
But still, remember that little piano you got? And I got the doll named Nathan. Your piano player, her name is Nathan. That's all that she said. One of those little toy things, you know,
And
that
then
doesn't want.
we'd all get a bag
Silk.
of candy.
Oh,
A
yeah.
little bag of candy.
And,
And of course, you'd go with the sleigh bells.
one year I got a black doll, I remember. I never liked her. She was black.
How about Halloween? Did you do anything for Halloween?
We all, the older guys would go and fix toilets.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We once went, one time, I don't know who was along. It was Simon Nelson, I think, and us, and maybe Dorothy Ingle or whatever. We were gonna go soap the school windows. I don't know how we figured we could reach those high windows anyway. We thought there was somebody standing by the school, and we all got scared when we went home. Never got any place.
How about Valentine's Day? Did you
Oh, we had
celebrate
Valentine's in school, yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
Had a
that was a
Valentine
big day in
box.
school.
Oh, yes, that was a big deal.
Made our own Valentine's.
Yeah. And funerals. Was there any special way that the Finnish community
Well, there was
held a
always
funeral and then?
the gray painting on a door where somebody died.
Was
With
that like-
flowers with a black cloth over it. Remember on our door even, when the babies died, they hung that on our door. And, I don't know, what else?
Well, they had the funeral at the house with our babies, the William especially. I don't know about Harold, was he at the house too? No, Ethel wasn't, Ethel
No, one
was
was
in
in the
church.
church.
Yeah, Ethel.
But I remember Dad had to keep it down the basement of the church.
Yeah.
And I remember when I come home, I guess, and showed me to be down the basement and showed me. So cute.
How about birthdays? Did you celebrate birthdays? And did everybody get a birthday celebration in the family, or was it?
I don't think so.
Do you remember any childhood games that you played?
Oh, yeah, we
Rhymes.
played
Well, we
ball.
played a lot of games with the neighbor's kids.
Oh, rubber stump toe,
Yeah.
shinny can.
What's rubber stump toe?
Oh, we're all in a circle. And out the bathrooms, bare feet. And one was in the middle. This is when the neighbors came over to take a bath, you know, too. And one in the middle had my dad's big boot. And we threw it at our feet. And we had to jump to try and if it hit our feet, then we had to be the one in the middle. That was rubber stump toe. We made that up.
Gosh, that sounds like fun.
And shinny can. Shinny can was fun.
What
With
was
a
that?
stick.
There was an old bent up can, and then we each had a stick, and there was holes in a circle. We had to each make a hole. I don't quite remember. Was there a hole in
There's
the
a hole
middle
in the center too.
too? And then we had to.
The
You tell the rest. I
shinny
can't-
can was in the center, in that hole in the center.
Yeah.
And there's one guy without a hole, so the one had to be it with the stick. And he tried to get that shinny can, how was it, in
Into somebody's hole,
somebody's hole.
and they had.
And
tried
they had to keep batting it away, but he got his stick in their hole while they were out of it, but then that one was really
Yeah.
good. So,
That was
We used
fun.
to play baseball too.
Oh, yeah.
oh, sure, in school we used to do
Where's the H Easter?
You know that one
What
by
about
the
any,
mall?
do you
That's
remember
where that
any
drugstore was, the mall, so we decided
rhymes
not
or
to go in.
songs?
Oh, my
Finnish, Finnish or English?
God. Ah. What's my difference? Ilman Valkka.
Jänis metsässä laukkaa, poronkelon kaulat sai ja
What does that mean? Translate.
Juukaa paukaa, it's just a
Like Humpty Dumpty or something, you know. It doesn't mean anything.
Jänis metsässä laukkaa, rabbits running in the woods. But he's got deer bells around his neck, and somebody's coat is on a nail. So it all rhymes in
Yeah,
Finnish.
right.
That's cute.
Aunt Martha sing that. Used to sing that to Janet.
Yeah.
I'm
Go
not-
ahead.
Oh, come on, just sing it a little bit.
Come on.
You sang it to us.
Come on.
Oh.
Sing it. Tomorrow, Thursday she'll sing it.
Yeah. What was that one? I'm sure Dad and Mother never taught us this one. And he built the fire and put the coffee on.
About what time of day are we talking
Oh,
about?
this is when the sun came up.
Yeah.
And then he made the coffee, then he'd call Mother, and she got on.
I thought he went and get the cows
Well,
first.
he went, well, maybe while the coffee was cooking, he went and got the cows.
Oops.
And then he got Mother up.
Well, he said that he used to drink coffee all by himself.
Oh,
That it was so peaceful
oh,
that he enjoyed it.
yeah, it could be,
And then Mother slept later, you know.
yeah. And, well, then they both had coffee, I suppose, then they go do the chores. Kids would get ready for school.
They
and
let us
what
kids
have you.
sleep, and they did the chores, they rooted it. Like in Wally's family, they had to get up and do the chores. But they let us sleep.
But then,
And we had to
when-
get up to go to school, of course.
yeah, and then, when the chores were done, then they'd come in, then there was a big breakfast. Where Mother, well, if there's oatmeal or she made pancakes or eggs or, that was probably about 9 o'clock. Then at noon was a big meal. And,
3 o'clock was
3
coffee.
o'clock it was coffee time again. And supper was a light meal. With Mother would cook rice and stuff like that.
Oh, no, not, that was just once Friday.
Oh.
I thought,
Supper was always a
Yeah, I
lighter,
just
big
lighter
meal.
meal.
yeah.
But noon was a big.
Did you come home from school for lunch?
Oh, yeah, we could run home.
Once in the summertime, I mean, when the weather was nice.
Winter, we didn't come.
No, we used to prefer lunch.
Did you go to school after the big breakfast? Did you have breakfast at home before you went to school, or?
Well, school started at 9 o'clock.
I can't sit still.
Friday night, we went to school. We had coffee and that before we went.
We had some.
We had something to eat before we went to school.
Did all the children in the family have responsibilities, chores, assigned that
Oh,
had to be
yeah.
done?
Burying the wood. Oh, gee, there was a job there tonight after school. Building the wood box.
Oh.
And of course, we got old, we had milk cows.
Oh, yeah, we had coffee at night.
I
We
had
did
to
do it in
milk.
the morning, but we didn't do it at night.
When I was scared of those cows. I never put milk.
So everyone shared the same, everyone
Oh,
did the
yeah.
same thing.
Oh,
so you
yeah, we
just-
had to, we
Did you
worked,
have to pick stones?
we had to pick stones and work out in the fields.
What's picking stones,
The rocks in the field, stones.
right?
So they just took a, they took
The
a
rocks in the
horse.
field.
They picked them.
Well, picking stones is, you pick them off the
It's kind of like sheeny can.
No,
With
so,
acne
so
pouch,
machinery, you know, they were too big for the
Right.
machinery and that.
No, and the spring thaw would bring the stones up.
And then when you pound the ground, well, that would turn up the stones too.
And
So
then-
this was something that went
So-
on all the time, or in the
Yeah.
spring?
That's in the
or-
spring of the year, we had to pick stones.
And
Uh-huh.
thin sugar beets.
And then sugar beets,
And
that was in summer.
Big mustard out of the field.
Yeah.
Oh, my farm, it was picky and
Yeah.
build your own arm. Stupid mustard.
How much, what did they grow? What kinds of things did they grow on the farm?
You had potatoes, sugar beets, barley, and oats, always oats for the horses,
Mm-hmm.
and
Corn.
Hey.
corn, and hay, of course, for the cattle. That was about
But
it.
the sugar beets, those were under contract.
Yeah, that was.
And then, of course,
So
the
that
sugar
was a,
beet
that
factory.
was a money crop
Oh, yeah.
that they,
And like cucumbers were too.
Cucumbers,
You
too.
plant maybe a half
Right.
acre cucumbers.
Oh,
and the
did Dad,
pickle factory would buy 'em.
oh.
did Dad grow cucumbers?
Oh,
Yeah.
sure, that's
Oh,
a
yeah.
job to pick those buggers.
Yeah.
Certain size, didn't they have to be?
But yeah,
Well, they picked them and
Different.
they called them at the pickle factory. That's what Chris and I were doing at the pickle factory one time.
Yeah.
Is to take the patterns out.
But most of the stuff, unless it was contracted for, most of the food was grown for.
For
Oh,
the-
yes,
the
and then a
own-
big garden.
Yeah.
there's a big garden every year with the carrots and,
What about the
Beets and-
orchard, fruit
oh,
grown?
Quite a
Look
bit.
at that.
And how many, what about livestock? What did they usually have in terms of numbers of cows or horses at
Usually
any
about
one
10
time?
milking cows.
Two
And then
horses.
livestock, I mean, usually some calves and some young stock all the time.
2 horses.
Two horses.
And pigs.
I remember
Pigs.
pigs
Yeah.
at one time. I don't know whether they were
Once in
there
a while
every
they
year or
have
not.
sheep,
I
they'd
remember
have a couple of
pigs.
sheep for the wool.
Uh-huh.
They'd shear them and then send them to be made to the woolen mill to have yarn made.
Oh.
My mother would knit,
Spin
And
her
then
own yarn.
they would make the yarn and.
Mother would
But
spin her
I
own
was
yarn.
and then she'd also
Spinning
spin
wool.
her own yarn with the wool.
We'll
that
wash
got
the
from
wool
sheep.
and card it and spin
And
her
dye
own
it.
yarn. Look at the spinning wheel.
She dyed it
Yeah,
herself
I
too.
remember
did she?
seeing it, yeah.
Huh?
Did she dye the yarn herself?
Well, I don't know, it was always white stockings that we had, white mittens.
No, but I know one time she knitted me a green tan
Oh, did she?
and sweater.
Oh. But then she must have dyed it
Yeah.
herself.
So she knitted most all the sweaters
Oh,
and caps
sure.
and
Oh, yeah,
mittens and.
stockings.
Yeah,
What
stocking.
kinds of things? Have I covered everything? Hats, sweaters,
When did she sleep?
mittens?
She'd sit
What,
there, that used to
socks?
be her good time in the evening, she'd sit and knit.
And she could read while she was knitting. She'd sit there, have a book there and just keep on. Once in a while she'd look down if she had to go around the corner.
She also made the quilts for the family,
Oh, yeah.
is that
Oh,
right?
yeah.
What about, I remember her baking. What was, once a week or
Oh,
daily?
yeah,
or
at least once a week.
At least.
My dad remembered the fried chicken better than anything.
Yeah. Did
Baked chicken.
Baked chicken.
And she baked everything.
She
Did
killed it
Did she
first.
buy anything in terms of bread or?
Well, very,
Cakes or-
very seldom. Bread. If she ran out, Dad was going to the store.
Yeah.
So nobody liked them on bread.
No, I go along with that. I remember the bread.
Churn your own butter and all
That's
the
your
ca-
beer.
candy
That was
she
a
did.
job.
I've
but
still got some here.
That was a job that,
Give that to
that
Sue if you're
turned
not
the
gonna
butter
drink it.
too.
I'm still on my first bottle.
How long would it take to
Well,
turn a
it
churn
depends on
full
how-
of milk
how-
into butter?
All depends on how sour the cream was. If it was fresh cream, well, it took us forever, it seemed like. But then with a thicker cream, well, it didn't take too long. And it really got butter. Yeah, they always had chicken.
And fish.
loved that.
Yeah.
She make like a stew on top of the stove with
Lihapo.
meat and lihapo potatoes and meat.
Uunikeittoa.
It used to taste good.
What about fish stew?
Calamari.
America.
Yeah.
I used to make.
And potato, what is that, potato porridge?
You were
Yeah.
oh, boktapuurua.
Yeah.
Martha's the only one that knows how to make boktapuurua. I hadn't had it for years, and she made some last year at camp. Oh, that was good. I hadn't had it for some years.
How was the house heated when you were, yeah, wood stove?
Yeah, same stove
Yeah.
that's here.
There was a kitchen stove, and then there used to be out of the box stove. It was a heater in the winter that they used to fire too. Used to be right alongside the kitchen stove in that old, before they had the kitchen built on. They used to be in that one room or in that log part of the house. Used to be a stove right alongside the kitchen stove. And they used to burn both of those whole blasts below zero right there.
Well, like one time it was so cold, they had a stove upstairs too.
Yeah, I remember that, but that was.
And then the chimney would catch on fire.
Oh yeah, that used to be something that chimney used to burn. And boy, we used to
The
remember
flames would be coming
we
outside.
seen this fire going up the chimneys in the kitchen stove, and we used to run to the barn and tell them that there's fire going up the chimney. And by the time we
Mother
get
would take the
there,
poke and get the pipes on the stove. The soot gets so thick in it.
How about, talking of fires, were there any, well, supposing it was a barn fire or something, was there ever a barn fire in the area, and what happened? Did it just burn?
Not at our house.
No, not all of those.
But in the neighbors
Yeah,
and
when
so
the
on.
neighbor's house burned, how many kids burned?
2 boys burned.
2 boys.
That was
Dad,
terrible.
Dad ran over barefooted, didn't you?
We put his boots on, but no stockings, and he didn't tie his boots or anything, put in a jacket. And he went over there and,
He said he could see the boys upstairs in the window.
he tried to holler at them, but they didn't.
That was England.
Chris and Larry had just left to go back to Detroit that day.
Yeah.
Then I think he was home for deer hunting over Thanksgiving or something, Larry was. And,
I guess that was about the only way we can remember, isn't it?
what?
Around that time, that
Yeah.
fire.
Oh, yeah. And then, we're all in bed, and I could hear somebody outside, but I thought that the kids were still sliding or something. And, then all this screaming in the kitchen all of a sudden. It was Mrs. Engel with the 3 boys. And
She ran
in their
over?
nightgown and barefoot through the snow, they came running to our house. And she was laying on the floor screaming. Of course, Dad and Mother got up to see, and then we could see that the Engel's house was burning. So Dad ran over there as fast as he could. And Mother called us down from upstairs. She said, come on down. I don't know who, Oscar or myself. No, that's all there was. You were gone already. You were in Detroit. And she went us downstairs. And
Where was
well,
Robert?
that Art would look out the window and it turned white because his best friend was burning in that house, Earl. And then Mother would have to try to get him out the window and try to calm Mrs. Engel. And his mother had her laying on the bed downstairs. And oh, that was a terrible night.
Where
It was just
Robert Engel?
Robert Engel, oh, the father.
Yeah.
Oh, he was dead long,
Oh,
many
was he
years.
dead then?
Oh, yeah.
Before that?
Oh my gosh, yes. Of course, he couldn't have been dead too many years because
Well, he
Glenn
died
was,
at 42 years old.
yeah.
Robert Engel.
Well, Glenn was just little yet when the house burned. He was the youngest one. Yeah, she came over with Bobby and Glenn and Pip. Because Earl and Donald burned in the fire.
Bobby,
Bobby Engel.
well, he was pretty big. He was
Oh,
the
yeah.
third
Oh,
one.
yeah, but I remember his hands were burnt. He had
Oh.
touched opened the door and the doorknob was so hot that he burnt his hands. Whole palm of his hand. That was Bobby and Pip and Glenn that she came over with. the other two. And Arnold was visiting at Harry Nelson's or something, and Earl. And Helen was at Dorothy's.
Earl